really alone in this universe. The various UFO sightings and many reported alien abductions bring up this question. The idea of UFOs dates back hundreds of years ago, which is a really long time. And after doing much research, I found that UFOs have been widely renowned. Ideas of aliens have been long discussed throughout time and throughout the world, and it's created a whole culture through movies and books and TV shows. But where did it begin? I'm going to talk about what UFOs are and then discuss the many UFO sightings, or two of the significant UFO sightings, and some significant alien abductions. So what are UFOs? It's anything that you see flying in the sky that you can't distinguish as a known object or phenomenon. So it could be literally anything you see in the sky. Like if you didn't know what a plane was and you saw one in the sky, you could be like, oh, look at that UFO. but mostly it's associated with aliens or flying saucers. So they have this idea of it looking like this. And it's also created a whole study about UFOs called UFOlogy. And many people believe in aliens or other life on different planets or different galaxies, but they think that the government is trying to cover it up. So they say that in the known Area 51, that they're keeping either aliens or UFOs or some evidence of aliens in there. And since the government doesn't release any information about Area 51, like they have all this secrecy about it, it raises more suspicion about what's in there. According to ABC News, there was 1,177 UFO sightings in 2015 alone. So imagine how many that is in all the years since the first UFO sighting, which was in Boston in 1639. Where there was flashing lights going back and forth in the sky. And according to Governor James Winthrop during the time, he said that the eyewitness was a sober and discreet man, so he can be trusted. And they saw the object in the sky. It was going back and forth for about 2 to 3 hours. When it would stop, it would flame up, and then it looked like a pig when they saw it in the sky. So, and then another one was in January of 1948. A National Air Guard named Thomas J. Mantell saw a silver disc-shaped craft in the sky while he was flying his plane, and he decided to follow it. But because of the high altitudes that he was flying at, he blacked out and his plane crashed. So this changed the whole idea of UFOs and aliens from being a cool thing to it possibly being dangerous. And after this event, people started reporting alien abductions. And the first alien abduction that was reported was to a family called the Reed family in the 1960s. They were in their home of the kids' room. There were 2 kids, and they saw a disarray of lights outside of the window, and then the kids, according to the mother who witnessed it, they got sucked out of the window. And she was all freaked out, so she went and she tried to follow them on the horse because they lived on a big ranch. She went to follow them, and she found them out on the field, and they were both sitting in the field, and they were just staring at each other like something had happened. They were like in a state of shock. And after time, one of the children recalled what had happened to them. They found they were thinking about the craft, and they had dark rooms that he was kept in and long hallways, but it was kind of like after time he remembered it, because one of the effects people say of getting abducted is that you lose time and you don't remember what happened. But also they experience after effects, like they would be driving in their car, and when they went to a stop, the car would flip around and go to a different, like it would be facing a different direction. So they assumed those were after effects of the abduction. And according to an article written in LA Times in 2004, there was a married couple named Betty and Barney Hill in 1961 who they were doing a road trip across America, and while they were driving at night, they saw bright lights in the sky, and they decided to follow it. And when they got close, they saw they saw a craft and they saw people in it, like little figures. So they were missing for several hours and they didn't remember what happened. So after they came back, the woman began having vivid dreams about remembering like what was happening to her in the UFO. Like she thought of the aliens were testing on them, and her dreams began to get more vivid. So they went to the doctor, and he diagnosed them as being abducted because she was having these dreams. And her husband had an ulcer that like kept getting bigger, and he had such hypertension. So they underwent hypnosis to try to remember what was happening. And the husband drew this picture of, under hypnosis, he drew this picture on the top of what the alien might have looked like, or how he remembered it to be. The bottom is a drawing, like a sketch of what he described. And then the wife drew this picture because they asked, she had asked the aliens where they came from, and they showed her a map that looked like this, and the darker lines coming off are supposedly trade routes that they take, and the dotted lines are expeditions that they took. And so aliens and the idea of UFOs have been around for a very long time. I talked about what UFOs are, discussed some significant UFO sightings, and some alien abductions. So if you ever see random light going across the sky, say hi to the aliens for me.